Before we dive into this, do one thing for yourself. Subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a drop of clarity and power that could change your life. Now listen, if you've ever called yourself lazy, undisciplined, or just not motivated enough, this video is going to hit different. The truth is, the problem isn't you, it's the fog. Once you clear the fog, discipline becomes effortless. Purpose becomes power. Let's cut through the noise and get real about what it takes to move like a warrior. It's time to sharpen your vision and become who you were meant to be. Discipline isn't hard when your purpose is blazing in front of you like a lighthouse in the fog. You've been told discipline is the key to everything. Wake up earlier, work longer, push harder, and somehow the results will come. But let's be honest. How many times have you done exactly that and still felt like you were drifting? You hit the gym for a few days, you study with intensity for a week, you even block distractions for a while, but deep down, something still doesn't click. That fire fades, the consistency crumbles, and you're left wondering, what's wrong with me? But what if the issue isn't your discipline at all? What if the real enemy is the lack of a clear why? Picture your mind like a GPS system, intelligent, reliable, capable of getting you through storms. But even the most advanced navigation is useless if you haven't entered a destination. Without a target, your effort becomes just motion, not progress. This is where most people fall, not from weakness, but from confusion. They aren't lost because they're lazy. They're lost because they're driving with no map. The truth is, energy without direction is chaos. You can have all the motivation in the world, but if you don't know what that energy is aiming toward, it burns out fast. Like a flame without fuel, clarity acts as your ignition. It gives form to your focus and shape to your sacrifice. And once the image is sharp, discipline becomes a byproduct. You no longer force yourself to show up. You want to, because the vision ahead is magnetic. As the character Roronoa Zoro from One Piece once said, "If I can't even protect my captain's dream, then whatever ambition I have is nothing but talk." That's what clarity does. It gives your discipline meaning. So before you blame yourself for a lack of willpower, ask yourself a better question. Do I really know what I'm chasing? Not just the surface level goal, but the fire underneath it. Because until that vision is sharp enough to cut through excuses, you'll always struggle to stay the course. This isn't about being superhuman. It's about seeing with precision. Because once the goal is vivid, once the mission feels personal, discipline stops being a burden. It becomes a habit. You're not lacking strength, you're just lacking sight. No one, not even the most relentless individual alive, can sprint through life with clarity when their vision is clouded. Try running full speed in a fog and see how long you stay upright. That's what you're doing every time you aim for a goal without defining it. So when you hit snooze instead of rising at 5 a.m., when that gym card starts gathering dust, when the side project that once lit you up fizzles out, it's not a sign you're broken. It's a sign you're misaligned. Don't confuse exhaustion from effort with failure. What's draining you isn't effort, it's uncertainty. Let's look back at the warriors of ancient Japan, the samurai. These weren't men obsessed with repetition for its own sake. They didn't train daily because a calendar told them to. They trained because their purpose demanded it. Each drill wasn't just about technique, it was a sharpening of the soul. Every cut, every stance, every breath was connected to a cause far bigger than themselves. Bushido, the code they lived by, wasn't just a list of rules. It was a way of being. Honor, loyalty, mastery, legacy. They didn't rise wondering what they were doing or why they were doing it. Their path was written into their blood. When a samurai rose before the sun to swing their blade in the freezing cold, it wasn't some motivational quote that got them up. It was identity. It wasn't about discipline for discipline's sake. It was devotion. Training wasn't a chore, it was a ceremony. Every repetition was sacred. Every ounce of struggle meant something. They welcomed pain not as punishment, but as purification. As Guts from Berserk says, you should enjoy the little detours. You'll find the strangest things there. To the samurai, pain wasn't a reason to stop. It was part of the way. Here's the truth most people miss. Consistency without context is just cruelty. You can force yourself to keep going, but if you don't know why, you'll eventually break. That's why the samurai didn't rely on fleeting motivation. They were anchored in meaning. Discipline to them wasn't a burden. It was their bond to a higher purpose. And that's what we've forgotten. When your actions are tied to identity, when your vision is fused with something greater than comfort, discipline stops being a struggle. It becomes your way of life. They weren't trying to stay consistent. They were trying to transform. That's the shift. If you want to understand what real clarity looks like, study Kobe Bryant. Not just the player, but the mindset. He wasn't obsessed with basketball for the sake of playing. He was consumed by a vision that stretched beyond the court. A vision of greatness so sharp, so unshakable, that it demanded a level of discipline most people can't even imagine. While the world slept, he was already hours into training. No fanfare, no cameras, just relentless precision. Trainers would arrive to find him soaked in sweat long before the scheduled session. This wasn't a one-time story. It was his routine, his religion. In high school, when others were partying or sleeping, Kobe would call his coaches after midnight, begging them to open the gym. When they said no, he'd find a way in anyway. Because when the mission is non-negotiable, obstacles become irrelevant. During summers, while others took breaks to recharge, he entered what he called blackout periods. That meant no social media, no hangouts, no distractions, just him, the ball, and the grind. His family understood that when Kobe went dark, he wasn't retreating, he was evolving. He disappeared not to rest, but to reinvent. There was a day he shot the same move over 1,000 times before he let himself leave the gym. A reporter asked him, "Why 1,000?" Kobe's answer, "Because now I know it works." That's not discipline fueled by hype. That's discipline born from obsession. He had days when his fingers bled and his body screamed for rest. Teammates would collapse after practice, and he'd still be there, quietly, methodically, working through every detail no one else saw. He wasn't being driven by applause. He was being pulled by clarity, and that clarity overpowered every excuse. People saw the championships. They saw the MVP trophies. But they didn't see the cold mornings, the isolation, the silent pain. They didn't witness the sacrifices made when no one was watching. Kobe wasn't chasing validation. He was chasing excellence. There's a difference. While the world raced for fame, he chased a personal standard so high it became sacred. That's why his discipline looked effortless. It wasn't effort anymore. It was who he was. And that's the power of a vision that's real. It doesn't push you. It pulls you. Let's strip it all down now. Bring the spotlight to your life. Have you ever truly defined where you're going? Not just those surface-level goals like I want to be rich or I want success, but deep, unshakable clarity. Who exactly are you becoming? Why does it even matter? And more importantly, what are you willing to give up to become that person? Most people spend their entire lives sprinting after mirages. Money they don't know how to use. Approval they don't understand why they crave. Success they never questioned in the first place. They inherit dreams from others and never stop to ask if those dreams actually belong to them. This is why so many feel drained. It's not a discipline issue, it's a direction issue. You can't stay consistent on a path your soul hasn't signed off on. Think back to the times in your life when you didn't need a motivational quote, when no alarm clock was necessary. The moments when you were in it, so immersed that hours vanished, hunger disappeared, and nothing else mattered. That's not magic. That's alignment. That's your spirit recognizing the path it was meant to walk. And when that happens, discipline doesn't feel like a grind. It feels like breathing. Goals without meaning are just burdens. But when your vision is tied to something deeper, something personal, every task becomes sacred. It's no longer about checking boxes. It's about stepping into the identity you know is yours. So ask the uncomfortable questions most avoid. If no one was watching, what would you still fight for? What dream would survive even in silence? What fire refuses to die in you, even when the world tries to drown it? And if your 10-year-old self could see who you're becoming, would they be proud or confused? Because once you truly know where you're going, discipline becomes almost effortless. You won't need external motivation. You won't need someone to hype you up. You'll rise with clarity. You'll move with intention. The fog lifts, the noise fades, and what used to feel like a sacrifice becomes a kind of sacred rhythm. To the outside world, it looks like discipline, but to you, it just feels like coming home. So how do you shift from drifting aimlessly to moving with precision? How do you transform fog into focus, hesitation into momentum? Here's your playbook. Step 1. Craft your warrior creed. This isn't just a motivational quote. It's your identity in motion. Ask yourself, who am I becoming? And why does it matter? Then speak it aloud. Own it. Example: I am becoming a relentless, disciplined architect of my future, so I can lead with purpose, protect what I love, and build a legacy that outlives me. Say it every morning. Burn it into your thoughts. This is your compass. Step 2. Purge what weakens your path. If your mission is sacred, then every minute you spend should reflect that. This means cutting dead weight, negative influences, toxic habits, empty scrolling, and energy-draining environments. Think of your vision as a blade. It needs to stay sharp, and to stay sharp, it must be protected. Like a samurai sleeping with one eye open, you must guard your time, your focus, your peace. If it doesn't build you, it breaks you. Let it go. Step 3. Engineer your day with intention. Warriors don't hope to feel strong. They prepare to be strong. Your day is your dojo. Morning, move your body, claim your mindset. Midday, create, build, act. This is your battle zone. Evening, reflect, read, recharge. This is where wisdom is sharpened. Don't wait to feel motivated. Design your environment so movement becomes automatic. Stack your routines so deeply in alignment with your mission that they become instinct. Discipline won't be a burden anymore. It'll be your baseline. You've been blaming yourself for being lazy, for lacking consistency, for needing constant motivation. But you were never broken. You were just unclear. The moment you remove the noise and root yourself in purpose, you'll stop begging for discipline. It will rise with you. You'll move with certainty. You'll speak with conviction. You won't need to push yourself. You'll be pulled by vision. And when that happens, you'll stop chasing discipline. You'll become it. Not because you're flawless, but because you finally know who you are and exactly where you're headed. Now go, etch your creed, cut away the noise, and walk your path with focus, with force, with fire.